Magic Kingdom has some of the most iconic snacks in all of Disney World. But how can you eat for cheap and save some money on your next vacation when you're here in Magic Kingdom? I am here today in Magic Kingdom finding out what are the cheapest snacks in this particular park and if they're worth your money. We are gonna go try them, we're gonna review them, and we're gonna let you know if you should spend your money on them in your next vacation to Walt Disney World. And we're even gonna give you a few tips and tricks on how to save some cash when it comes to food too. So while I'm here in Magic Kingdom, I am kind of wanting to try some things that we've not tried before. I'm looking for cheap snacks, but I'm also looking for some maybe more unique snacks. You guys know how we feel about the Gaston cinnamon roll, how we feel about Dole Whip, so we want to mix it up and find some different options that maybe you guys haven't seen us review before and are still on the cheap side. For a lot of these snacks, we wanted to make sure that you could get them during most of the day, maybe not all day long, but you have a really great chance of being able to grab it while you're here. And for our first stop, we are headed back here to Fantasyland. One of our first cheapest snacks can be found here at Cheshire Cafe here in Fantasyland. This is one place, it does not have a big menu, but the one thing we're going to get is the reason that I think you should stop by. And I'm really excited that it is on our cheapest snacks list because this is one I get just because it's good, not because it's cheap. All right, so for our snack that we grabbed at the Cheshire Cafe, we got, of course, because you have to, the Cheshire Cattail. It's one of my favorite things in Magic Kingdom. It is a super sweet pastry that has melty chocolate chips in it and then icing drizzled all over the top, and it's purple and pink icing. Truly, this is a sweet pastry lover's dream, and it's only $5.79, which makes it one of the cheapest snacks in Magic Kingdom. Also, I'm here eating all of the snacks, but I found someone else who's also here, and she might eat a snack with me. Maybe just one?
You might as well.
Might as well. You have never had one of these, have you?
No, I have not.
This is one of my favorite things. I cannot wait to make you try it. While she's tearing into it and getting ready, I'm gonna tell you my favorite pro tip is that you can get Joffrey's coffee and cold brew here at the cafe, so you don't have to wait in the lines and you can still get flavor shots, so pro tip.
Okay, I'm very excited for this. I've always wanted to try one, I just never have.
Today's the day.
That's really good. There's a lot of chocolate in here.
There is a lot of chocolate.
I like that. Because you know sometimes you go to like Starbucks or a cafe and you get the chocolate croissant and there's like one chocolate chip in it and they call it a chocolate croissant. There's a lot of chocolate in here. This is a really good thing to grab on the go. Maybe if you're here early in the morning, you want to grab a snack that you can eat while you're waiting in line for something. This would be really good. It's shareable. I like it.
Yeah. Okay, my opinion as someone who gets this a lot, I think it is great. I think it is very shareable. It is very sweet. Like, I cannot stress how sweet it is. It is the kind of milk chocolate that just melts in your mouth and then covered in icing. So definitely going to be on the sweeter side. If you don't like sweet pastries, if you like a chocolate croissant, this is a great option. It has just kind of extra icing. But if you don't really like that kind of stuff, definitely steer clear of this one. This one, if you had to rate it 1 to 5, what would you rate it? Taking in price and quality, the whole thing.
I'd probably give it a 4, I think.
I'd give it a 4.5. It's not perfect, especially because even though I love sweet things, I know that I could not eat this every time I'm here. This is not necessarily a must-do for me, but I think it's wonderful, and for the price, 4.5. We've rated it, we've chatted about it. Do you think it's worth $5.79?
I think so.
No, to me, no question. I think that's worth $5, especially if you have a kiddo who wants something sweet that isn't just pure sugar. I think that's gonna really satisfy that need. And you could spend a lot more money on a lot worse items. And we've done it before.
Yes, we have.
Check out our worst snacks series on the channel. All right, she has things to do because she's Fry Bucket, and what else does she do? But I'm gonna call her for a few more snacks maybe later. Bye! She's so tiny and cute. All right, so that was the first of our few snacks that we're gonna try today. And we're gonna talk about a lot, but those are the first that we're gonna try. One thing I needed to say and talk about is that we aren't gonna do any specialty items except one, but I'll explain why we're doing that one. So that way, hopefully you can try any of these the next time you're here, no matter when it is. Also, because we're gonna talk about tips, one of my first tips for you guys is to know that you can bring your own food to any of the 4 parks. There's a few, a few rules, a few stipulations. But if you're really looking to save money on food, that's gonna be your #1 way to do it. All right, so while you can bring your own food into Magic Kingdom, there's a few rules that you're gonna need to kind of adhere to, make sure that you follow before you bring any of that food in. So first, you can bring food and drinks, but the main thing, the #1, is it cannot be alcoholic drinks. No alcohol. You can purchase it, you just can't bring it in yourself. When it comes to food, you can bring almost any food that you want, but it cannot be in glass containers. That's a big one. It can't have pungent odors. It can't need to be reheated or refrigerated. It needs to be able to stay in your bag and be safe and healthy that way. If you adhere to all of those rules and you make sure that there's no pungent odors or that you're bothering other guests, you're allowed to bring any food that you want. I highly recommend it. It's a great way to save any cash that you might need to. And sometimes Disney World doesn't have the food you need. So if you have a really particular diet, or if you're just really trying to eat healthy, or you have your own allergies that are really, really severe, that's gonna be your best bet, is to bring your own food into Disney World. You can double check on Disney World's website to make sure that you have all of your things that you need to follow those rules, that you can bring your food in. But for the most part, it's pretty straightforward, and you can bring almost anything, that you want. As I'm heading to check out the rest of the snacks that we're going to try today, there are several honorable mentions here in Disney World. And one of the, I think, best honorable mentions, especially if you're thinking about breakfast, is gonna be here at Friar's Nook. So the reason I'm not trying it today is because it is a certain snack that you can only get during certain times of the day, and that is at breakfast time. But here at Friar's Nook, they have some of the most delicious, and I mean that, I love these things. They have some of the most delicious little breakfast options, and technically it counts as a side option. So here for breakfast, they have the sausage and gravy tater tot bites. They're tater tot bites with sausage and gravy, that's literally it, but they are so super filling. They're just a little bit over $5, and they count as a side, so they're not as expensive. One of my favorites, and it's a good savory breakfast. But if you're looking for a sweet breakfast while you're here, they also have the cinnamon sugar donuts. They're donut holes covered in cinnamon sugar. Both of these you can get until 11 o'clock, and they are considered some of the cheapest snacks in Disney World because they're both under $6. Now I am going to walk to the other side of the park and head towards Adventureland and Frontierland, because that's where our other 3 snacks that we're going to try today are. And luckily for us, some are sweet and some are savory, so we're kind of getting a little bit of the best of both worlds here. Another one of those kind of cheaper options if you're eating in Disney World for a meal. So here at Sleepy Hollow Refreshments, when you're heading into Liberty Square, you can actually get a powdered Mickey waffle for breakfast only. That is one of the only things that you can get during breakfast, but it's for $6.49, which does make it one of the cheaper options here in Magic Kingdom. And it is a big waffle. It's pretty filling. It's one that I really like. So if you're looking for a sweet kind of breakfast that is pretty filling but not breaking the bank, this is gonna be a great one to come to. And it's right in the shadow, kind of the castle. So you get really beautiful views. Okay, for this next snack, we are headed into Frontierland. And if you know anything about quick services in Magic Kingdom, you know what the quick service is back here, so it might not be that big of a surprise to you that that's where I'm headed. But this is the one treat, a little bit of a tease here, this is the one treat that is technically considered a specialty item, but I will explain to you while we're getting it and why it's okay that it's specialty. All right, for our next stop, we are headed to the quick service here in Frontierland, and that's Pecos Bill's Tall Tale Inn and Cafe. This is one of the biggest quick services here in all of Magic Kingdom. This is where you can get tacos, nachos, some protein bowls. I actually really like it. I know that might be a controversial opinion, but this is a good one. And this is the only cheap snack that we get to mobile order today. So I'm gonna mobile order and then we're gonna head on in. All right, for my snack here at Pecos Bill's, I got the 50th anniversary iridescent churro nuggets. So I know I said no specialty items, but the reason I did still grab these is because prior to the 50th, they were just regular churro nuggets, and I bet good money that after the 50th, they will still just be regular churro nuggets with no iridescent sprinkles on top. So these are just nice, normal churros that they've cut down into little bite-sized pieces. It does have the traditional sugar all over the top, and it even comes with a chocolate dipping sauce, which I think probably will make this cheap snack worth it. Let's give it a shot. All right. So these churro nuggets, I'm gonna tell you this one, I'm dipping it in the chocolate sauce. Oh, look at that. chocolates to die for. These are $6.19, and in the one that I have right now, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So 9 of them and the chocolate sauce for $6.19. First off, that is so super crunchy, but the inside is so soft. There is sugar everywhere, and that chocolate dipping sauce tastes almost like a dark chocolate sauce. This is absolutely delicious and wonderful. I think for $6.19 also, this is very shareable. This is a good portion. It's technically considered a dessert here. I think this would be a really nice, fun dessert. I think a lot of people consider churros a staple of Disney, and this is a good way to get that staple that is shareable, not as messy as kind of trying to tear a big churro, and you even get chocolate dipping sauce. Well, I might love these. A lot of people would not enjoy this. It is covered in sugar, and that chocolate sauce is on the darker chocolate side. I think if you want more of a milk chocolate, this is not going to be the best, even though it's not that big of a difference. On a scale of 1 to 5, I honestly would say these are a 5. I love churros. I think the dipping sauce is such a nice, exciting touch. I think it's 100% worth a $6.19 that you might pay for this. And especially if you're sharing it, this would make it extra worth it. I'm saying on a scale of 1 to 5, it's a 5. If you like churros, these are must get, okay? Overall, those churros were absolutely delicious. 2 more items left today to try. Luckily for me, they're all right here in the same area. And one of them is straight across from Pecos Bills. But I'm gonna go to the other one, and I'll explain why, because I have a thought in my head about why. For my next stop today, I came right between the bridge between Frontierland and Adventureland because I am headed to Aloha Isle Refreshments. So Aloha Isle Refreshments, if you don't know, is where you're gonna find your one-stop shop for Dole Whip here in Magic Kingdom in Adventureland. This is a place that people love to come to. Pineapple Dole Whip is absolutely a classic and a must-have, and it's a cheap snack. But because we're trying to mix some things up and try a few things that we haven't tried lately, I'm gonna get a little something different. Alrighty, so to mix it up just a little bit today, I got one of my favorites here in Magic Kingdom, which is the coconut cup here at Aloha Isle. This is the coconut version of a Dole Whip, and that's really about it. It is very coconutty, but it is also one of the cheapest snacks that you can get here in Magic Kingdom. It is only $5.99, and I think it's a great serving size for that. We're gonna try it though and see how we feel. This is one that I've had a lot. It's very creamy, it's very cold, it's very coconutty. Coconut is the main flavor here. If you enjoy that sweet coconut flavor, you're gonna love this. If you don't, definitely skip this one. Try out the pineapple Dole Whip. It's the pineapple flavor. It's a lot more acidic, but I love it too. I mean, it's really good. And there's a reason that that one is a classic staple. It's just one that people try a lot, so I wanted to mix it up today. I do definitely think this is worth $5.99 because it's such a huge portion. I do also think that it's a lot to eat, and sometimes you need to eat it really quickly, so that's something to be aware of. I think this is very shareable. I would actually recommend sharing it. I love this. On a scale of 1 to 5, I'd give this 3.5 because it's delish, but I would choose probably the other 2 options before I chose this one, just because it melts so quickly. Sometimes it's hard to eat if you're not sharing with other people. Those are my thoughts, people. Okay, wrapped up at Aloha Isle, having delicious Dole Whip. We've eaten the sweetest things in the world, and the reason I decided to come this way was because I wanted to make sure I ended my day with a savory snack, so that way, you know, a little savory after the sweet. But look who I ran into. Speaking of sweet, she's back. And so now, no, we're starting our snacks together and we're ending our snacks together, which works out really well for me because these are some of my favorite things again. We're just eating Emma snacks unintentionally today. I promise this was not the plan.
I like it.
Back in Frontierland, we are here at Westward Ho Refreshments. So this is a place that you can actually come for breakfast or for some snacks. They do have some great breakfast options like the breakfast sandwich, Joffrey cold brews, and a bear claw, but that is not what we are here for today. We are here for one of my favorite, I think, hidden gems in Magic Kingdom, and I'm gonna show you. For our final snack here in Magic Kingdom and our most savory snack, we got the jalapeno poppers from Westward Ho over here in Frontierland. These are breaded jalapeno poppers stuffed with nacho cheese and served with your very own buttermilk ranch dressing, which I am very excited about. So these jalapeno poppers were only $5.79 for 5 of them and buttermilk ranch. We're gonna put it to the test and see if we think it's worth that, and if you guys should get it. Cheers. Immediately, how do you feel?
It's a little spicy.
It's pretty spicy. I've had these before and they have not been this spicy.
I like spice. I can handle it. But it's got a little bit of a kick to it.
This definitely has a kick. I am not someone who handles spice super well, but this is just enough that it gives it flavor and it's not overwhelming. If you are really adverse to spice, don't risk it with these because this does have a lot more kick than I remember. But if you are okay with a little bit and you like it a little bit, I think that's still okay. The cheese itself is so melty and it's just kind of that plastic nacho cheese, that classic cheese. I really like that. Mixed with a really crunchy breading. I really love this. I'm so glad they give you ranch to go with it. I think that really tops it off and kind of brings the whole thing together. Happy with that. Scale of 1 to 5, what would you give it?
I think I would give it another 4.
Yeah, I definitely would give these a 4. I think you need to be very cautious. These were a lot hotter than I have ever had them before, and I've had this a lot. So these might just be fresher, but definitely consider that. Take that with a grain of salt. But if you're looking for something that's savory and a little different, that's a great snack, I would go with this one. This is a really good one. So while I've gotten to try 4 snacks today that I think were actually really delicious cheap snacks, there are lots of honorable mentions here in Magic Kingdom because Magic Kingdom has a ton of food. I literally can't stress that enough. There are lots of options and they're all relatively within the same price range. So one of the first honorable mentions I think is Walt's chili cheese fries. They are over at Cosmic Rays. You can grab them for $6.49. They are technically considered a side. They are delicious. They're huge, they're a great portion, and they're not that expensive, especially if you like fries and you kind of want to add a little bit to it. The next thing you can actually grab at Aloha Isle, and it's the pineapple upside down float. One of my personal favorites. Quincy changed my life when she let me try it. It's a huge portion and it's only $6.99. It's a whole thing of Dole Whip on top of basically a whole donut. So do with that what you will. And then one of my last honorable mentions is something we eat all the time, but it's the warm cinnamon roll from Gaston's. It is delicious. It's $6.79, so it's a little bit more pricey than some of the things we had today, but not by much at all. And it's delicious, and it's a huge breakfast item that's very sweet. We talk about it a lot. It's one of our favorites. So definitely consider those. If none of what we tried today sounded any good to you, those are some great options that are really hefty and not that much more expensive than the stuff we did try. Also, if you guys don't know, we have a full blog called AllEars.net, and we've done an entire article about everything that you can get in Magic Kingdom for under $10. So if the stuff I mentioned today didn't sound that appealing, there's an entire article of everything that's under $10 that you can check out there with our opinions on it too. So another thing that Disney World has that is a cheap snack is not just in Magic Kingdom. It's, okay, well, Fry is eating one of them. Disney has a lot of like Disney staples, like the Mickey Premium Ice Cream Bar, that are pretty cheap. How much was this one, Fry? Do you know?
$6.25.
$6.25. Okay, that is just in line with all of the things we've eaten today, and they have a lot of them. Look how beautiful, even when it misses an ear. That's actually stunning.
It's actually iconic.
Yeah, no, it is iconic. And there's a few more that we'll show you. Is it delicious?
It's so good.
Would you say it's worth a cheap snack in Disney World? Another tip that I have if you're trying to kind of save some money and check on those cheapest eats here in Disney World, one thing that you can do if you bring your own food in that can still make it a Disney-like experience is finding a really good spot to eat your food. One of those spots here in Magic Kingdom is here on the hub grass. This is where every time I bring my own food, that's my shadow, every time I bring my own food to Disney World, I will find a spot right here on the hub grass. I'll look at the castle, and even though it's not maybe Casey's Corn Dog Nuggets and it might be an Uncrustable, I still love it. It's still magical and it's still a really nice Disney World experience. Another place that you can go in Magic Kingdom is right behind Gaston's Tavern. They have quite a bit of seating over there. It's not a ton, but it all has umbrellas. It's a very cool area, and they play the music from the Beauty and the Beast musical, so it's just magical. It's nice, it's really cool. Those are two really great spots here in Magic Kingdom in particular, that if you bring your own food, you can still enjoy the magic and the experience of Disney World without maybe breaking the bank to do it. And my third tip for eating cheap in Disney World is to find those cheaper sit-down dining options. So you can find different cheap options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, although a lot of dinners and lunches will have the same offerings. And I'm gonna show you the breakfast options and the dining options, because even if you do want to eat in Disney World, you can make smarter decisions so that way you do get the Disney experience without feeling like you need to spend a ton of money on every single meal. Another way to save money in Walt Disney World while still getting that experience is to find some of the more inexpensive table services. And I say that with a note because it's still Disney World, and you're not going to necessarily find a cheap sit-down restaurant, but you can find an inexpensive one. So places like the Plaza here on Main Street and Tony's Town Square restaurant here on Main Street are two of the most inexpensive table services in Magic Kingdom. While both of these options aren't necessarily cheap, they do have some entrees that are only a few dollars more than some quick services in the rest of Magic Kingdom. If you do your math right and you play your cards right, you can still get a pretty cheap, you know, using that in the Disney sense, pretty inexpensive meal at both of these restaurants. Another great option if you're looking for an inexpensive breakfast option in the parks is actually the Main Street Bakery, which doubles as the Starbucks. A lot of the breakfast sandwiches here are only a little bit more than $7. They have Mickey cinnamon rolls for $6.29, and they have a lot of drink options, which you can get if you're interested. All of these options are roughly around $7 as far as breakfast items go, so that's definitely going to be one of the most inexpensive options in Magic Kingdom. While the Plaza, which serves traditionally American-esque food, and Tony's Town Square restaurant, which serves Italian-style food, aren't going to necessarily be cheap options, both are quite a bit more inexpensive than the other options here in Magic Kingdom. So if you're still wanting to do a sit-down restaurant while you're here and not break the bank, these are going to be your best two options in Magic Kingdom. Now, a lot of the snacks we talked about today are Magic Kingdom specific, but just like Fry's Mickey Premium Bar, there are a lot of things you can get in every single Disney park that is also considered inexpensive. You can grab a Mickey pretzel for just $7.50. You can grab a Mickey Premium Bar for $6.29. You can grab some popcorn for $5.50. There's a handful of options just like that that you can grab in any of the Disney parks that are also considered to be inexpensive or even cheap snacks. Overall, I think that Magic Kingdom has some delicious, cheap and inexpensive snacks. You don't have to break the bank to get a really good classic Disney World snack, and you can find some snacks that maybe aren't so classic but are really good too. I hope you guys liked it. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Now go check out our best snacks in Magic Kingdom video.